On October 20th, 2017, Valve released the Jungle Inferno update, which added 4 new pyro weapons and 1 new heavy weapon. In this video, we are going to take a close look at the gas passer, a new secondary throwable weapon for the pyro, and examine its mechanics and stats. The gas passer, when thrown, creates a visible gas cloud that can coat enemies in gas when touched. If the enemy takes any damage while doused in gas, they will ignite into afterburn, replacing the gas effect. It even ignites pyros, who are normally immune to afterburn. The gas passer's afterburn lasts 10 seconds and ticks damage every half second for 4 damage, resulting in a total of 80 damage when the afterburn expires. When you are hit by the gas passer or touch the cloud that it creates, your player model will drip with gas and your first-person view becomes warped, with a bluish-greenish tint, and a little gas can icon will display above your health, to let you know that you've been coated in gas. These visuals appear to be identical to the first-person Girardi effect, except recolored. The third-person dripping effect also seems to be recycled. Achieving a kill with the gas passer's afterburn will result in the pyro's current primary weapon icon being shown as responsible in the kill feed, except for when the player has the Dragon's Fury equipped. In this case, it will show up as the default flamethrower. The damage and kill will always be attributed to the player who threw the gas passer, even if someone else triggers the afterburn. Once you've been doused, the effect will linger for 10 seconds. There are several different ways to remove this effect before the timer runs out. Touching a health kit won't remove the gas, but visiting a resupply cabinet will. Drinking bonk won't remove it either, but it can prevent it if you drink it before walking into the cloud. Charging with the Demoman's shield will also remove the effect, just as charging removes afterburn, bleeding, Girardi, and Mad Milk. Throwing friendly Girardi and Mad Milk onto yourself will not remove it, but submerging yourself in water will. In fact, the gas cloud itself won't work in water at all. The effects of enemy Girardi and Mad Milk do not override the effects of gas and instead will stack with it. Besides coating enemies in gas, the cloud will also reveal enemy spies, similar to other wettening weapons such as Girardi and Mad Milk, and likewise, the effect is shortened to 7 seconds instead of 10, since cloaking reduces the timers of Girardi, Mad Milk, and Afterburn. Despite this similarity, enemies who are coated in gas are not considered wet within the game's code, meaning that the Pyro's Neon Annihilator will not crit on those doused in it. It's very sad. However, this doesn't stop the gas passer from being able to extinguish burning teammates. Oh, Valve. Despite how ridiculous this interaction can seem, I feel that most people will accept it during the course of a game without a second thought. It's intuitive and in line with other mechanics found within the game. Only in the stylized world of Team Fortress 2 will you find characters thanking you for extinguishing their flames with a can of gasoline. When equipping the gas passer, one of the first things you will notice is its unusual charging mechanic. The gas passer's meter starts out empty, and in order to use it, you must wait 60 seconds for it to fill. That's a long time. Fortunately, if you are out and about fighting the enemy, then the meter will fill up faster, proportional to the amount of damage you deal. Yeah! There's a bunch right there.
Oh no, I died. There's a sentry, I didn't even see it.
Banana. My gas pass charges really fast. Maybe it's going up because I'm killing people.
Maybe.
I found that the amount of damage required to fill the gas passer to full seems to be 700 damage exactly. The faster you can achieve this number, the faster you can charge your gas passer. If you attack someone who has either a resistance or a vulnerability modifier from an equipped weapon, then it will effectively ignore that modifier, resulting in no change in the time it would take to fill if they weren't wielding those weapons. For example, a heavy wielding the Fists of Steel takes 40% less damage from ranged sources, so it would appear that you only need to deal 420 damage to him, since 420 is 40% less than 700. Similarly, if a heavy is wielding the Warrior Spirit, he will take 30% more damage, so you would appear to require 910 damage to charge your gas passer, as 910 is 30% more than 700. In these two cases, the game only sees that you did 700 damage to that heavy, and ignores any manipulation that weapon modifiers might provide. Since the gas passer only cares about what your own potential damage is, the charge time is entirely dependent on how quickly you can dish out 700 damage. So the best strategy for quickly charging it would be to damage as many people as possible simultaneously. Interestingly, your charge time does not reset upon death, so whatever percentage you had when you died will be restored when you spawn. This persistence through death mechanic, coupled with the ability to fill the meter by dealing damage, is identical to how the ultimate ability mechanics work from Overwatch, a Blizzard game that was heavily inspired by Team Fortress 2. Perhaps it has come full circle and Valve has been inspired by Blizzard. Or maybe it's just a coincidence. Or a bug. When thrown, the gas passer creates a ghastly green cloud of fumes. Through testing, I determined that when the gas passer initially hits, the diameter of the cloud's effect seems to be approximately 450 hammer units wide, and then almost immediately shrinks down to about 300 hammer units wide before completely dissipating after about 7 seconds. It appeared that the initial width of the 450 units only lingers for the instant that the gas passer hits, as some sort of splash effect. This was rather difficult to test, however, and I might be wrong about these specifics. If you have a better understanding of this, or a better way to test this, please let me know in the comments. The cloud that the gas passer creates is affected by gravity, and if the gas passer is thrown at a wall or ceiling, or its fuse runs out, the cloud will gently float down to the ground, affecting any enemy it comes into contact with. This fuse lasts exactly 2 seconds, which means if it's thrown into the sky and doesn't come into contact with any surface during these 2 seconds, it'll automatically explode. The gas passer can be reflected, changing its team affiliation and team color. This does not reset the gas passer's fuse timer, however. So as we know, enemies who are coated in gas will ignite into afterburn if they take damage, but there are a few interesting cases that I wanted to test out. Taking fall damage or self-damage of any kind will ignite the gas. This includes self-bleeding effects, both initial and residual, the Ullapool Caber, overloading the Beggar's Bazooka or loose cannon, or deploying the half Zatoichi. Interestingly, if a player uses a rocket jumper or sticky jumper on themselves, it will also ignite the gas. Additionally, I also tested several external damage sources to see how it interacted with the gas. Air Blast does not trigger the effect, but the short-stop shove will. Although it appears that no damage is being done, the shove actually does 1 point of damage to the person being shoved. This is because the damage has no owner and will not be reported to the shoving player. If a player doused in gas deploys the gloves of running urgently or eviction notice, their maximum health will slowly decrease. Rapidly deploying these weapons will seemingly lower the player's actual health to a number less than their maximum health, appearing as if the player has taken damage. However, this does not trigger the afterburn. Being hit in the back by the holiday punch will not trigger afterburn, as this deals no damage. Being hit from the front works as intended. Backstabbing a doused sniper who is wearing the Razorback will not trigger the afterburn. Any damage taken from taunts will trigger afterburn. However, the stun from the Huntsman's taunt does not trigger afterburn, as it deals no damage. The Sandman's ball will trigger afterburn, but this interaction becomes more complicated when the ball is being reflected. The reflected ball will correctly damage the scout who initially spawned it, triggering the afterburn. But when this ball is redirected to any other player, there will be no damage, resulting in no afterburn. This is assumed to be a bug. This behavior is not present with the Rap Assassin, as it correctly ignites both the original scout and other enemies that it is reflected towards. There are a few extra details that I forgot about while making this video that I'd like to show you here. I tested the speed of the can when thrown. Comparing it to a few other throwables and projectiles, I determined that it was approximately 1500 hammer units per second. It's faster than Girardi, Mad Milk, rockets, and grenades, but slower than the Sandman and Flare Gun. Next, I tested the short circuit's effect on the gas passer. Sure enough, the short circuit correctly destroys the gas passer projectile. No surprises here. Then I tested the effects of the rocket jumper on an enemy doused in gas, just in case. Since it does no damage, it did not ignite the player into afterburn. So this is working as intended. Next, I tested the effects of fall damage on an enemy via both the Manfreds and the thermal thruster. These two items damage enemy players when landing on them from a significant height. and as such, they both correctly ignite players doused in gas. The last thing I tested were the takeoff and landing effects of the thermal thruster. These effects do not ignite enemy players doused in gas, and they also do not clear the effects of gas for friendly players. That's it for this video. If you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe. If you have a suggestion for a topic I can make a video about, please comment down below. If you'd like to see more content besides videos, please consider following my blog at thoughts.tf. I will be posting these videos, along with the occasional text blog post consisting of my findings, opinions, or experiences within TF2. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.